All right, hello, welcome. My name is Shaina. I'm an astrologer, and today we are doing a much more chill video than I've done for a while. I recently just did a bunch of videos for my Learn Astrology course series, which will be linked up here in the cards if you haven't watched it. I just finished 101, so before we start 201, I wanted to just do a little bit of a break, I guess. I will do start 201 in the next upcoming few weeks, but basically what I'm doing today is a collective tarot deck and book haul. All of the books, of course, have to do with like witchcraft and astrology and all that kind of stuff. So on par with this channel. But last year in, what was it, 2023, I didn't buy myself a single tarot deck. I did buy myself some books, but I didn't buy myself any decks, and I really didn't buy myself much of anything last year, mostly because of money, of course. What else would restrict you? But and I've also had issues in the past with buying too many things at once. So then this year I decided that for every month of the year I would buy myself one tarot deck just as a treat. And since we're like past the halfway mark, I figured I would do a little collective haul. So we're going to start off with every single tarot deck that I've bought this year, which there are 7. So is that right? Yeah, and I'm filming this the last week of July, but I figured, you know, if you like this video, I'll update you at the end of the year with the second half of the decks that I bought. And also there's the one that I got for this month I have not unboxed yet, which is the Faeries Oracle. So we will be unboxing this together. So I also am going to talk about the books that I've gotten this year. So before I fully get started though, let me just get the advertising out of the way. So I do sell, my bangs, I feel like, I'm not gonna try myself, but my bangs are really bothering me today. I just feel like they're not doing the thing. But let's get the advertising out of the way. So I sell full-length birth chart readings on my website, shainaemily.com. I have actually gotten an influx of readings, so if you bought a reading, thank you so much. That means so much to me. I also sell tarot readings over there. I feel like I'm just having a bad hair day in general. I also have a TikTok at shaina.emily. I've been doing lives every single Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and I've been posting pretty much every day, very frequently over there. And I also, of course, have a personal Instagram. But let's just get into the decks that I've gotten. So I'm going to go backwards. I'm going to start with the deck that I got in July and go all the way back to January. So starting in January, we're going to unbox this deck together. I got the Faeries Oracle by Brian Froud. I don't know, but I was looking for an oracle all about fairies. This is my July deck. Everybody says that this feels like the most, like he feels so connected to it, like he knows what fairies really look like. I did not want an AIR fairies deck, but rather an AER fairies deck. You know what I mean? So this is not, I think, like magical princess fairies, but this is like supposed to be more like accurate fairies. So, oh yeah. So I have a camera down here, which hopefully looks decent. I'm like way worried about it. So yes, let's open this box up. Oh, and it's got like a big guidebook. That's so nice. Am I supposed to keep this box? So it's weird that it does come in a box, but it's not like a box. It's like not a nice box. It's like a box. Am I the only one that finds this weird? This is like a legitimate book though. That's insane. Do you see how nice this is? Oh, that looks so cool. Look at how nice this is. Oh my gosh. It's not color, but I don't really care because it's such a nice guidebook. Okay, so this is a really cool guidebook. I really like that so far. And then this is the actual deck. And then these are the backs. Are they reversible? I'm pretty sure they look reversible, which is awesome. And it's very like papery thin. That's weird. It's like really thin cardstock. That's so strange. I'm obviously not going to do a full flip through, but let's just see what's going on in here. They're numbered, which is nice. They're really thin though. That's my only concern, is how thin they are. I feel like it's going to make it really easy. Like they're almost like ready to rip. Okay, now we're starting into more face cards. Oh, that's so strong. Isn't there something so intoxicating about these? And so like fantastic, but dark and I don't know. The Bright Mother. These do seem very powerful. I really like this deck so far. This is so beautiful. Oh, I want to live here. This is cool. I really like this deck. Yeah, I really like this deck. Obviously, I haven't tried it, so I don't know any like deep first impressions. But there is something very beautiful and blissful, and like a lot of these characters are naked, but they're not sexualized, which is really nice. And they do seem very Just like honest, like very like the star card. Oh, these are so cool. No, I love this deck. This seems like the best fairy deck. Okay, so I'm not going to go through it all with you because it's not like a deck review. That looks way cool. All right, that's awesome. Okay, so my first impression of this deck is that this deck is awesome and I'm going to love it. So far, this is like better than I thought it was going to be, honestly. And it seems really powerful. And, oh, that's really cool too. All right. This deck seems awesome. I'm going to dig into it more, you know, in my own time, but I really, really like it so far. So yeah, this is really cheap. I'm pretty sure you can get it for like $20 at like magic.com or something. But I'm really glad that this was the first kind of like fairy kind of oracle that I bought because I really like it. And the backs are really cool. It's very enchanting. All right, so far I'm really happy with July's tarot deck purchase. That is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. Also, I will make a list of the oracles down, or all the decks that I purchased down below. So for June, I got another oracle deck. Most of the year I bought tarot decks, but I did buy 2 oracle decks this past time. This is the Archetypes cards by Caroline Miss. This is like a deck that everybody uses. I used this in my last pick a card video, which I'll link right here. I did use this deck and I actually really liked it. Every time that I've used it, it seems really legitimate. It's not like my favorite art style or anything, but I really don't think that people use it for the art style. I think that we all use it for just how helpful it is, and how, like, what's the word, expansive. Like, look, there's so many cards here. It's insane. Like, that's wild. Okay. So yeah, it comes in a box, which I do really like anything that comes in a box. It has a guidebook, which is nice. I actually don't think that you need the guidebook because they have, I mean, the guidebook does expand on things. It's like a little guidebook and it's nice. It's not as bad as those like Los Scarabeo guidebooks that I freaking hate so much because they're like tiny and they're in like multiple languages, and then they're just like, it's just confusing because it's like, it looks like you're getting more than you are anyways. So the archetype cards. This is another one that's only about $20. The backs are not reversible, which is one of my least favorite things about this deck because I do always read with reversals. Okay, so these are like really plasticky cards, which honestly, I don't like plasticky cards, but that is better than the other deck, which had like paper cards. There's just a bunch of like archetypes. I'm sure you've seen this. It has the light attribute, the shadow attribute. I'm sure you've seen this deck somewhere before, and I just felt like I needed it because I've been doing those readings, and I think it's just really helpful. This is great to get like a significator card for someone or for a reading. I really like decks that they don't all need to be necessarily like inappropriate, like, oh my god, I need all my decks to be erotic, but I don't like my decks to feel like censored. You know what I mean? And like the Fairies Oracle, it's not like erotic, but it's not censored. I do feel a similar way with this. Like there are some more like look, their Slave just came out. Like it's obviously not censored, but it's not like just trying to be gross or inappropriate. It's just being like honest and expansive and like true to like what life is. You know what I'm trying to say? It kind of, you know, like covers everything, right? Exorcist. Okay. So I really like this deck. I'm a big fan of it. It is kind of hard to shuffle. You can see it's kind of like hard to make it get straight, but I would really recommend this. So that was the archetype cards, and that was my June purchase. Next up, so this was in May. I was especially broke in May. I didn't have any money in May, but that's when I started, I think, getting more serious about TikTok around that time. I joined the creator program, and you know, you could get stuff and review it, and so I was like, I've never done that before, so let me try it. So I was like, I saw all those like mystery date with a deck, blind date with a deck, you know, videos going around, and I was like, that actually is legitimately cool. That's actually legitimately interesting to me. I wound up getting a free deck sent to me, and I did make a video on it. It wound up being this deck, Spiritsong Tarot by Paulina Faye, and I have to say this is not a deck I would have picked out. This is really not my vibe. And it is like an animal deck, which I love the concept of. I love that it's, you know, in this box. That's great. And the guidebook is actually pretty okay. It's not bad, but I don't know. This deck is just a little bit too soft for me, at least the art style. And I don't know, it just is. And it feels very bland, honestly. Like, I really don't like the backs either. I'm not a kind of beige person. I'd rather have something like the archetype cards where I don't even really like it that much, but it's colorful and fun to look at. This is just a little bit boring for me to like, ugh, God, it's not me. And then the artwork is just like really, really, really busy. Oh, I love goats. Oh my God. Anyways, so yeah, I do like the animals and stuff, but just look at that. It's just really like, I don't know why the octopus is the Wheel of Fortune, and it's just something very childish to me. Like, this is a deck that I would be like, oh, I'll give this to my kid to use as one of their first decks, because they like shaman, like they changed a lot of the words, and I hate that they did the Queen of Shells and the Two of Crystals, and they changed. I don't like when they change it and it's not like obvious, you know, it's not like pentacles to coins or something. It's hard to see what you're looking at, and it makes the image just kind of like incomprehensible. Oh, pigeons. Like, there's something I like about it, but I don't know. Like, I would give this to a kid, but then they're not really learning tarot. They're learning through this, like, silly system. And I just feel like when I read the book and the descriptions and the reason why they picked it, it's not like the Animal Spirit Oracle, where I feel like that's picked for a reason and, like, it makes sense with each thing. This is just, I don't know. It feels very random. I do like how that the animals that they picked like reach a wide variety of animals that you wouldn't typically see. But oh, there's the goat again. How do we get back to the goat? I just wanted to say hi. Because I do daily draws. I can never find myself using it like multiple days in a row for a whole, you know, season. Because sometimes I'll be like, this is my Cancer season deck. And I was trying to make this my Cancer season deck. And then I got really bored by it really quickly and used a different deck. I don't know. It's just not really me, I think. I'm thankful for it. It was fun as like a fun little thing. It came with so much more stuff, and I liked a lot of the stuff that came with it. Like, she gave me this whole journal that's back there, and I love the journal. I'll just quickly show you the journal I got with it. Isn't this so cute? I love this. This is the best part of the dang thing. Okay. So I don't want to seem unappreciative, because I'm not. I'm very thankful. It's just not for me, but it might be for you. So there you go. So next up, April. This is in April. My money goes up and down. So I was able to save enough money to get quite a big purchase. This isn't everything that was included in the purchase, but I wound up getting this box, which contains the Alleyman's Tarot, which this is like a major, the past decks that I've talked to you about are quite mass market decks. This is not. This is a very much an indie deck. I got the Alleyman's Tarot, and I got the like whole extended version with every booster pack, all the extra stuff, you know, and it comes with this really big guidebook, which I'll show you more into this. And then I also got the Oracle dice, the new Publishing Goblins Oracle dice. I haven't even dug into the Oracle dice. I have spent a whole month reading with this deck, and it was like the best thing ever, and I want you to do that again because it was so fun, and it's quickly become, other than like a Rider-Waite Smith deck, but like it's my favorite like eclectic deck, you know. And then this is the whole booklet that came with the Oracle dice. So it was very expensive, but honestly I think it was one of the smartest purchases I've ever made. I will like cherish it forever. So let me just go through it really quickly. So first of all, I'm so glad I got it in this box, because this kind of looks whatever, I don't know, it's kind of unimpressive. So it's supposed to look like a matchbox. See, it's kind of cool. I wish this was actually like something that you could strike. That would be even cooler. I want to get the Oracle deck if I am able to save up the money, but it seems like that's just something that's already passed, and it was like a Kickstarter, and I don't know if I can get it anymore. I tried. But the whole point of this deck, as you can already see, is that every single card is different. I love it because I get bored so much. I get bored so easily. Like, that's why I got bored by the Spiritsong deck. It's just, it felt like I was looking at the same card. But this deck is literally amazing. It's like a whole new experience every day. And I've already been introduced to a lot of decks that I didn't know about, that I'm interested in. Or there are even some decks that I recognize that I've always wanted, and it's cool to have a card from. He has some of his own illustrations in here too. And it's just really cool. It's got your basic major arcana. It's got some doubles of some cards, quite a few doubles. It's even got like a billion death cards. It's got some random other, it's got like a whole other arcana. And yes, okay, you may be thinking, how do you do this? Like, how do you shuffle with this? Because people will say that a lot. Well, you obviously just like pick some, put it to the side, shuffle that, pick a card. Like, you know what I mean? Just split it up. But the cards are very plasticky. They're very slippery. It is not my favorite card stock. After feeling that Fairies Oracle deck, it's better than that. So that's good. So let's just pick a random card here. Let's see what we got. So we got the Comforter. Oh, that's actually really sweet. I aspire to be her. Very Cancerian. Let's pick another card. Yeah, look at this. Completely different vibe than the Knight of Swords. So it's just, there's so much more to be told. And the vibe of the card has so much to do with the vibe of the day as well. You know what I'm trying to say? Oh, this is so cute. And even the backs, like the backs are fun because it's like more art to look at. And it's just really entertaining to me. And I feel like you can never get bored. And I'm so, so glad that I invested in this deck. And then this is the guidebook. So it's supposed to look like a little journal. See, it's got a pretty good length of a description of every single card. This is a deck that I actually saw that made me want the whole deck of. It's got some like spreads and stuff, and then these are the booster packs. And I absolutely love it. It makes me want the Oracle deck because I think this is so special. But like, look, even this little mushroom card. Oh, this is cool. Okay, sorry. There are even cards that are foiled. Let me see if I can grab you a card. I think this one is. Like, you can tell this one's foiled. Oh, look at that. That's cool. That's the Alleyman's Tarot. It's fantastic. If you're somebody like me that likes eclectic things and gets really bored looking at the same deck and wants just like a real big surprise, I would really recommend this. And then it fits perfectly into the box. And then this is the Publishing Goblins Oracle Dice. And basically, I need to learn the system and like spend time to teach myself, you know, because it's like a whole other system in itself. You can see it's got very colorful dice. But yeah, these are so gorgeous. Really fun. Got a bunch of different symbols on them. I roll my astrology dice that I have every day. And so I thought this would be like a fun thing to learn. I always like learning new systems. Look, we have the planetary dice. And then let me just show you. I don't really like this cover, but it's okay. So yeah, then for each dice, it has these big descriptions and it's full color. Look at this. Like, they really went all out, did not spare any expense. It's a full ass book. Obviously, this was like my big purchase of the year and the thing that's most exciting that I still get excited that I have. And if you guys know of any way to get the Alleyman Oracle, I'm like so interested. So that was what I got for May. Love it. Would recommend it. Oh wait, no, that's not what I got for May. That is what I got for April? March? Wait, this is March. That's what I got for April. Spiritsong deck is what I got for May. Okay. Sorry, going backwards with months. Wow. Confusing, stressful. So we are at March. So March was another month that I was dead broke and hungry again. Because things go really back and forth for me. So my boyfriend actually got me this. We went on a trip to LA. We've gone to 2 trips to LA. What did we do? I think we went to go see Horse Girl during this trip. And he was very sweet and he bought me the Occult Tarot. We went to the bookstore Alexandria too, which we were both obsessed with. So he was very sweet and he passed by this and he saw this. And what's funny is I was looking at it too and I was really curious about it. And he was like, you know what, I'll buy it for you. And I was like, oh my God. So yes, this is the Occult Tarot by Travis McHenry. And actually I do also have the Demon Tarot, which I'm going to grab. This is the Demon Tarot by Ariana Osborne. So these are actually very similar. This is a legitimate tarot deck. This is just an oracle deck. So the names I think are switched. The Demon Tarot I think should be called the Occult Oracle. And the Occult Tarot should be called the Demon Tarot, if you ask me. The box of this one is so nice. It feels literally so nice. And I love the foiling. And the cards of this one are way nicer too. Oh, just it feels so nice. This is a really, really nicely made deck, I have to say. And I do love this size box. I feel like is perfect. So the thing about this deck is like, yes, it's a really nice guidebook and that you get a full picture of the card. However, this is my main issue with this. Okay, first of all, the best part, this. These cards are literally so beautiful. This red foiling, first of all, you cannot reverse the backs, which as you know, I do not like. It's got like a decent amount of information. You have, see, it actually is a tarot deck. You have the Tarot Card Association, you have the demon, you have the demon's name in Hebrew, which little did you know, I can actually read Hebrew. I was raised Jewish and I can read Hebrew. I guess this is like the number of the card. Then you have the image. as shown in like the demon encyclopedia or whatever it's called. You have a little bit of a blip about what this demon does. And then I know this is like the sigils. I think these are different sigils. It says in this guidebook. But let's take this card as an example just because it's right there. Let's be judgmental about this. Oh, that's so pretty. Let's be judgmental about this like the Emperor. Oh, actually, that's so funny. It uses this card. So, okay, so this is a demon seal, summoning seal, and the astrological seal or other seal. Okay, if this is the card, you'd think that you would get more information in the book, but you don't. It just says the same thing, the exact same thing that's right here 3 times. So you get it here, you get it there, and you get it there. And it's just like such little information. I do wish there was more information. So that's kind of like the main thing that's like stopped me. There's really no reason for this guidebook. Like when I say there's no reason for this guidebook, there's no reason for this guidebook except for like this. It's just such little information and it repeats itself a lot. You know, oh, they teach arts and sciences and philosophy. Like they all teach arts and sciences and they all bring good familiars. It's kind of like what you feel like you're reading over and over again. Why is this used as the 3 of Cups? You know, what does spreading destruction by fire really have to do with the 3 of Cups? You know, it's just kind of like, there's just not enough. Oh, it's the Starbucks girl. I've drawn this card before. Isn't that cool? Well, it's like the siren, but anyways. So, I like this deck, and it means obviously the world to me because my boyfriend got it for me. And I like the box. I like the presentation of it. But the other thing that while we're here, I want to show you is this Demon Tarot deck. So, this. These are very, very similar. If you have one, you really do not need the other one. Now, honestly, I'll have both of them. I'm happy with it. This, I do not like the box and the setup as much. Oh, I don't know why this card's out. Interesting. I should look into that. So, this book is better because this book actually has more information on the demons that you can read about. And I do think this is really pretty too. I've had this deck for a really long time. The cards aren't as nice. There's no foiling on the side. It doesn't, the deck and everything just doesn't feel as nice. But it's like, see, it's got a really similar setup. Okay, so I wish it was this deck with this guidebook, but you know, just like the information in this guidebook wasn't here, you know, because this guidebook is a lot better. But I like the occult tarot more, especially because it shows like tarot associations with each one. Yeah, I mean, which one would I recommend? I don't know, because I would recommend the occult tarot if it weren't for the book. I like this one so much more. It's so much nicer. You don't even know. You don't even know because you're not feeling it. You don't know. So yeah, I just wanted to quickly point that out. That was the occult tarot. Now let's go on to February. So in February, I purchased one of my favorite decks ever, and that is Tarot of a Moon Garden. I would say Tarot of a Moon Garden and the Alleyman's Tarot are my 2 favorite decks, and maybe, well, I haven't used the Faeries Oracle, but that's going to definitely be a favorite deck of mine. This is good for everyone's budget, it doesn't matter. It's like, I got it for $15 on magic.com. I have a full review of this deck actually on my TikTok. I'll link that down below. It's the perfect deck for me. It is the perfect deck for me. I cannot emphasize this enough. So first of all, Moon, Cancer Rising, Garden, Capricorn Sun and Moon, Tarot, Pisces Midheaven. I love this thing. This is by Karen Marie Swidehart. I looked it up and she doesn't actually make any other decks, which I'm really sad about. Just looking at it first, obviously I love it. Like, look at the front of it. It's very whimsigoth. I call it the ultimate whimsigoth deck because that's what it is. It's very like Wicca witchy, which I'm not a Wiccan, but I do like that kind of Wheel of the Year vibe. And I also really like the aesthetic of like the 90s witch stuff, which this is very much that. This guidebook is actually really nice. This is the perfect size. Again, this is the perfect size box. I love the way that this is set up. And it's a full color, and you get at least a full page for every single description. Okay, so let's get into the main point, which is the cards. So the best part also about the cards is, you know, the purple foiling. Look at how pretty this is. Which one is prettier, the red or the purple? You can't make me decide because I can't decide. It's literally gorgeous. So I love these cards because they're long and thin. Let me just show you in comparison to my Spiritsong tarot deck. You can see these are a lot wider. Obviously, I love that the backs are reversible. And this is just a whimsy goth dream. Of course, we start with a tower, but even that, like, it's like very intense and the colors are very dark, but it's still like very fairy tale. And there's like a lot of imagery of like butterflies and greenery, like it's a garden, you know, but it's like a mystical garden because it's the moon. And it's a little pippish, like you can see like the 8 pentacles, but there's still usually an image that goes with it. Oh, look at how, I just love this art style. It's like, if I could live in any world, it would be this world. Look at how pretty she is. I don't know. I have nothing bad to say about this deck at all. This is one of my favorite decks that I own, period. Oh, it's so beautiful. And I love that it's like dark colors while still being fantasy and fairy tale. Like, the Spiritsong tarot is like fantasy-y, but it's not. It's still like light and pastel and beige. And I don't like that. I want to live in all of these castles. Oh, it's so pretty. It looks a lot like my grandma used to draw these like little picture books for me where I was like the star of the picture book because she's an artist. And the style that she used to draw them in looks very similar to this. And it makes me think of my grandma. It was like these Princess Shaina books that she made for me. So yeah, I'll just show you a few more. I have nothing bad to say about this. This could not be more my style. It's very honest and it's very to the point and it's not like censored and little kitty in that way. But it feels like, I don't know, it just feels like the fantasy land that I want to live at. And I don't know why I never hear anything about this deck. So yeah, if you get one deck, I would really recommend getting this one. Like, my goal is to be her in this world, in this land of the moon garden. So yeah, all right, that's the best deck here. I have nothing at all constructive or bad or negative to say about it. It's the best thing ever. I love this purchase. So yeah. All right, the last tarot deck we'll be talking about, and then I'll move on to the books. You probably already know this deck. I did a whole video about it, which I'll link it right here. And it is the Tarot of Vampyres. So you already know my thoughts on it. If you haven't watched the video, it just feels very like wannabe erotic. Somebody said it was like AI vampire erotic weird stuff, and it's like, yeah, that totally is it. I'm not going to spend too much time with it. We'll just look at it very quickly. So yeah, god. Everybody buys it for the book. You can literally see I've read the whole book and like made some notes. It's fine. The book is okay, but it's not worth what everybody says it is. I hate that rose. It feels very outdated to me. Oh, that's so cool. We started at the star card. I feel like she looks like me, so it's one of my favorite cards. But yeah, it's just, it doesn't really speak much to me. I really don't like the colors. I don't like the art style. It's very two-dimensional. Like, see, look, she looks like she has a plastered on boob. But yeah, I'm not going to spend much more time on this deck because, again, I have a whole video. Watch the video if you're interested, because I definitely don't share the opinions of everybody else's, that everybody else shares and sucks the dick of this deck and absolutely loves it. The more I sit with it, the less that I like it, and I don't really get why everybody loves the book so much. It's just fine. It's an okay book, and it's honestly a really bad deck in my opinion. So yeah. Have you ever seen that TikTok where it's like a mom, like, it's like, oh, if I ever hear this song coming from my kid's room, I know I'm in trouble, and it's like the Skins UK theme song. I'm like, if I ever see this deck in the hands of my child, I'm like, oh no. This is not the route that I want my child to go down. Anyways, so yeah, that's the Tarot of Vampyres. Not for me, maybe for you, and if it's for you, get some better taste. I'm just kidding, sorry. So now we will go through the books that I've gotten this year so far. I'm going to do this in the same way. I'm not perfectly ordered with these because I took notes about which deck I bought when, but wasn't that way with books. I definitely bought a lot less books than I normally have the past few years, just because I have kind of stopped reading a little bit in the last like maybe 2 or 3 months. I've kind of slowed down reading because I have been doing so much TikTok and YouTube, and I've also gotten addicted to The Sims again. Honestly, I'm stuck on this book called Mythic Astrology. I'll just show it to you. So I did not buy this book this year. I bought it like maybe last year or the year before. Maybe the year before, but it's called Mythic Astrology, Archetypal Powers in the Horoscope. But yeah, it's 400 pages and it's just like a really big book. So it's just like, and it's like really dense, and it's a great book, and I've read a lot of it, but I've still got like well over 100 pages to go, and it's really, I've been stuck on it for like 2 months, maybe even 3 months. So I need to finish this damn book. So the most recent book that I've gotten was actually a gift, very nice. And this was from my boyfriend's cousin who wound up living in my same town, and he like just found out she existed, and she was like, oh, Clay told me that you're really into astrology, and I happen to have this book laying around, and I figured you might be really into it. And I was like, that's insanely nice. She was also a Capricorn, which is cool. But this is Calendars and Constellations of the Ancient World by Emmeline Pluckett. I'm gonna give this back to her once I've read it, but it was just really nice and it seems really cool, so I wanted to mention it. I love old books. When was this made? 1903. Oh, the first edition published in 1997. Copyright 1903. Reprinted from the Proceedings of the Society of Biblical Archaeology, January 1892. I'm not sure what this book is from, but basically it's about time and the different calendars and how it relates to astrology and how different people tell time. And I'm literally obsessed with the concept of time and how it's basically all made up, yet it all comes from something. So is it really made up? I don't know. I'm really obsessed with the concept. So I was like, this is kind of the most badass book anybody could hand me. So after, and I never met her before, and all that she knew is that I was into astrology. So I really felt like this book came into my life for a reason. And I just feel like it'll give me a more well-rounded view of astrology, and just, why wouldn't I love this book? So I'm going to read this book after I finish my fucking Mythic Astrology book. It's an amazing book. I would recommend it to everyone. And the first half I got through really fast. And for some reason, the second half is taking me longer. Okay. Next up, the second LA trip that we took this year, we went to, what did we do? Oh, we went to Born Free, the motorcycle show. We also went to the Nude Beach, which we always go to down in San Diego, but we went to Alexandria too, as well as a few other stores around, but I think we only really bought stuff from Alexandria too. I bought him a tarot deck as well, just like his first Rider-Waite tarot deck. Yes, so he actually bought 2 books for himself, and he bought 1 book for me. And I just wanted to show you the books that he bought for himself as well. So the book he bought for me, he picks out a lot of my books, is the Kybalion of Hermetic Philosophy. So this is just basically, I did start reading this in the car because I was curious what it was. I opened to a page that was really interesting. And this is very much like, I would say like my boyfriend's philosophy, but on a deeper level. So it was really interesting that he pointed this out and showed it to me. It's kind of just a combination, like a culmination of Hermetic philosophy. It's like The Secret obviously took a lot of things from this and made it more approachable to middle-aged yoga women, you know, which, no offense, you know, it's not bad if you are that. My mom is that. But this kind of like is the advanced version of that. But it really just breaks down the way the world works into simple principles like correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect. You know, there's a few others. And it's a pretty short book. So I think I'll read it really quickly. And it's just a beautiful copy. They're not really sure where it first came from. I think 1903 was the first time it showed up. And we actually don't know who the 3 initiates are. The introduction that I was reading kind of goes into who we think they are. We think it was written by one person, but we think that he got these ideas from 3 different kind of sectors, and it's all coming together. So that's why he gave credit to that, to those philosophies or philosophers. It's really interesting. I almost want to say it's like Hermeticism 101, but it's very advanced, but it also is at its core principles is what it seems like. And then the 2 books that my boyfriend got, the first one was Esoteric Secrets of the Art of Memory, but it has to do with basically Masonic. It's like Masonic secrets, and he's been getting more into Masonry, and I've been really pushing him to do it, honestly, because I think it's good for him. And I pointed out this book. I actually found this book for him, and he did start reading it. And he seems to really like it, but it has a lot to do with like how to basically remember things, the art of how to remember things, because I was able to see a Mason funeral, and a lot of what they have to do is memorize things, and they weren't very good at it because they're old men, and so this book is to kind of help with that, which I'm great at memorizing stuff, I will say. Anyways, and then the other book that he picked out, and this is Alchemy, Energize Your Life by Freeing Your Mind. I was like, I don't even really understand what alchemy is. It doesn't really make any sense to me. But if I were to get into any book that has a lot of astrological correspondences, and the second anything also has astrological correspondences, I am hooked to it. But yeah, we'll see if I ever read this. I don't know why I have no interest in alchemy. I just don't. Okay, next up, this book. Oh, I have the receipt. So when did I buy this book? I bought this at the end of May, and this is called The American Book of Nutrition and Medical Astrology. So I actually bought this book without knowing. This was my last purchase I made from my psychic guy. If you live in like Las Vegas or LA, you know what psychic guy is. But there was 3 locations in Las Vegas in the psychic eye, and they closed down 2 of them, and they only kept the gross one that's like small and lame, and they got rid of the big one, which I got most of my old books from back there. And I also got this because they have this case of rare books and like old vintage rare books, and they have the most amazing books there every time. We just went into town the other day, and they closed it down, and I don't know, now I don't know where to get my books as much anymore. You know, I can get like mass books from anywhere online, but you know, this is not a book I feel like I would just like stumble upon naturally. But I'm very glad I got it because I've been eyeing it for literally 2 years. They had 2 copies in there, and I would always put it off because it was $50, but I wound up getting it for $30, and I think it's because they were closing down. But yes, it is what it says it is. It's very advanced. It just kind of talks about associations with medicine and healing and astrology, and it has a lot of example charts, and it even has like a little medical questionnaire. But I'm super interested in this because I hate doctors, because I don't think they know what they're talking about most of the time. They've just kind of screwed me over a lot in my life, and they screwed my mom over a lot when she had cancer, and it made me really turn against the whole, at least America's medical system. I mean, I'm not saying I would never take my kid to a doctor or something. That's not true. I don't feel that way, but I do want to make sure that I know what I'm talking about, and like I'm kind of able to, you know, they just, I don't know. I don't need to go into that whole thing. I just want to make myself more competent. And I also just think this stuff's really interesting, as I do have a 6th house Mercury and a 6th house Venus. So of course I'm interested in it. So very excited to look into this book here. Next up, I got this on our first LA trip this year, and we went to see Horse Girl, and I got it along with the Occult Tarot. This is the Aleister Crowley manual. I got this from the same place, Alexandria 2. We go to other places, but we just wind up buying things from there because they just have the best selection. Psychic Eye used to have the best selection of old vintage rare books, and then Alexandria 2 has the best selection of new books. But yes, this is the Aleister Crowley manual. So I also have actually a review of this book on my TikTok, which I'll link down below. As you can see, I've marked it up. So I don't want to go into this too much, because if you want to listen to my whole review on it, go to my TikTok. But basically, this person called Marco Visconti is a thelemic practitioner, follows thelema, which is Aleister Crowley's thing. And I have to say, after reading this book, I'm not much of a thelemic person. I'm just not much of a like I'm not a Wiccan. I'm not a Golden Dawn person. I'll just never fit into the whole, you know, cookie cutter, you're this, you're that, you're this. But I am really interested. I would be so interested in like a biography of Aleister Crowley's life. And I honestly thought that this was a little bit more of what that was. And there is a little bit of that. I think it's interesting, but it's also just like what you need to do is, you know, learn all the information. Like I've read some stuff on Golden Dawn. I've read some stuff on Thelema. I've read stuff on Wicca. Learn it all. And then just take what you like and throw the rest away and create your own little belief system, create your own little practice, because that is really what they all did. That is what Aleister Crowley did. He really was attracted to a lot of Egyptian stuff, even though he did get a lot of the information wrong. It's not fully his fault though. They didn't have a lot of the proper translations. He took a lot of the stuff that he liked, you know, Golden Dawn Egyptian, just general hermetic principles like that you would find out through the kybalion, sorry if I'm saying it wrong. And then he kind of created his own practice. So don't follow somebody else's practice because that's not yours. It doesn't connect or relate to you, because how would it? It's not yours. You didn't make it. So I think it's really important to learn all this stuff and have like a backbone of understanding and knowledge of magic and philosophy, and then just throw it away and create your own. And that's kind of what I'm doing and why I'm reading this stuff. So I'm very thankful I read it. Would recommend this book if you're wanting to get into Aleister Crowley, because his stuff is impossible to read. Even as somebody who is a really fast reader, very high reading comprehension. Reading is like one of the best things I can do, honestly. I cannot read Aleister Crowley. I don't want to. It's too much. So this is great because he speaks in the perfect language, honestly. So I would really recommend that book if you're interested. Next. Okay. I have this book called Essential Reiki, A Complete Guide to an Ancient Healing Art by Diane Stein. So I wanted to basically teach myself Reiki, which I know you can't fully do. After reading this book, I now realize that like a whole point of Reiki is that you have to be initiated, you have to buy the class, you have to buy the course, and you have to, I forget what it's called, but I did read this whole book, and I'm forgetting what it's called. Is it called initiating? There's like the first degree, the second degree, you have to get I'll put the word of it right here, to be a Reiki practitioner. After reading this book, I will say pretty confidently, I feel like I have as much, if not probably more, knowledge of Reiki and understanding of Reiki than people who have gone to the classes have. You know, she is obviously a master, like an OG Reiki person. That kind of was one of the reasons why it's gotten so popular. Like, she's been in this shit kind of feeling. It's a great book. I would really recommend it. And my thought process was like, this was about $20. I'm like, I could spend $20 and teach this information myself at my own pace, or I could spend like hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars, on some random ass person that I don't even know if I should trust, teaching me Reiki with a bunch of students that probably know nothing about esotericism. And I don't know, right? You know what I mean? And so that's why I was like, I just want to read this book. But I did not know that this is an extremely controversial thing to do, because when I was looking up books about Reiki, there was only like 3 to choose from. And I was like, Reiki is so popular. Why are there only like 2 or 3 books to choose from? And I chose this one just because it seemed like the language was the best. It seemed like what I wanted, which I completely agree. I'd recommend this book a billion times over if you're wanting to learn Reiki. But okay, so when I was reading it, I realized that it's like you're not allowed to write down the symbols. You're not allowed to write down the information. It's supposed to be all passed orally, and you're not supposed to do it unless you're like a Reiki master and you're supposed, you know what I mean? It's just like a highly, highly controversial thing to do, to write about it. But she is a very kind of like non-traditional while also being traditional Reiki master, which was perfect for me because she was like traditional enough that she could teach me the traditional stuff, but she was non-traditional enough that she threw away the stuff that just like actually didn't matter, but she also talked about it and explained it. I just thought she was great. Now, there was a lot of extra information, like just about your main esoteric principles that I already understand, that it was kind of boring to read. Oh, there was also a portion at the end about Buddhism, which was really interesting. And I realized that I do not like Buddhism. I am not a fan. I realized that on the spectrum, that Satanism is on one end of the spectrum, and Buddhism is on the complete other end of the spectrum, and they could not be more opposite. And I definitely lean a lot more like a Satanist perspective than I do a Buddhist perspective, because Satanism is like, you're here to enjoy life, you're here to live it, you're your own ruler, you're autonomous, and you know, you can do what you want, and just don't fuck with anybody, but you're here to live life. It's very like how I see Satanism. And Buddhism is like, you're here to suffer, and you're here to not enjoy anything and get anything and have pleasure in anything and complete and nothing. Nothing is what's the goal. The goal is nothingness. And I'm like, why is that the goal? We're here to live, so we should live while we're here. We'll exist in nothingness while we're dead, or whatever happens after that. Like, why can't you enjoy things? And Satanism is not about hedonism. People put things together, but in some ways I'm like, Buddhism is kind of hedonistic because it's so obsessed about the opposite of hedonism, that it's more obsessed with hedonism than Satanism is, because Satanism is just being and existing and enjoying, while Buddhism is just so obsessed with having nothing and being empty and void. It's just like, why would you want to do that? I looked up the Buddha's chart. He's a Leo rising with all this Taurus and Scorpio energy, and he has major mommy issues. I was like, oh, it's because of his mommy issues anyways. But I have no Taurus Scorpio in me. So he was dealing with his own battles of having a lot of Taurus Scorpio Leo energy in him, and those just aren't my problems. I have a Taurus Scorpio interception, so I don't need Buddhism because I don't have the same, obsessions and issues he does. I have my Capricorn Cancer problems. Anyways, that's not the point, but that was a side note. Yes, the whole point of Reiki is that you're supposed to spend a bunch of money on it, and it's only for rich people. Like, Reiki is for rich people, and she made it more accessible for everybody because she's like, it's a lovely healing art that I want to spread, and I think everybody of any class should enjoy, and it shouldn't just be for the upper elite. And I think that's awesome. But yeah, I'm not technically Reiki certified because I haven't taken a class. And if I were to take a class now, it would just be repeating the same stuff I already spent time reading and researching and memorizing. So now I'm like, I don't really want to take a class. And I probably disagree with a lot of the stuff that the people say. And it would just make me mad. And I'd wind up leaving again, just like my magic class that I took. So I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get Reiki certified. But also, I'm like, why do you have to do... You know, I'm like a... Anyways, let's move on. We've talked about that for a while. Okay, next up, we have... This is the only fiction book that I've bought and I've read recently. I really don't read many fiction books, and this is William Golding's Lord of the Flies. I'm sure you guys have been assigned to read this in class before. I had always seen it on the required reading stuff when I was in high school, and I never read it. It was never something that somebody, like a teacher, required me to read. This is such a small book after holding all those other books. It's tiny. And I was like, I think this is a book I really want to read. Like, I think I'll really like it. I'm really interested. I thought it would be like, kind of like the philosophy of man, the socialization of man, and how boys act and what do they really like. And I hate this book. I hate this book. I did read it. I hate this book with a passion. I think it's a terrible book. I think it's shitty. I think it's stupid. I think it's so censored. If you don't want to hear a spoiler, then don't listen to this next little part and skip ahead. Spoiler alert, like 2 kids die. I thought they were all going to kill each other, obviously. I thought it was going to go into this mass crazy shit. No. The whole time, all they talk about is keeping a fire lit. Oh my God, the fire. And then guess what happens at the end? They get found because of the stupid fucking fire. I just don't really care about the characters. I don't think this is true to what would really happen. It felt very censored, very PG. Felt very, like, not teenager even. It felt very elementary to me. And I felt so bored reading it. Like, nothing happened for so long, and then whenever anything would happen, it would be like 1 page, and you would be like, did I just read that? Did I just read over it? And it would just be really easy to read over big things that happen, and then you'd read nothing for forever. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I just don't think that reading fiction books are for me. I think I need to stick to nonfiction. And if I read any fiction book, I think it needs to be a kid's book like Matilda or Alice in Wonderland, because I think that there is way more interesting things to be found through that. And it was a much deeper, much richer way of writing. Like, oh God, no, hate this book. I literally keep it up on my thing and I keep it turned around so people don't know that I own it, because I don't want people to think that I like the book, because it's so embarrassing. Not that anybody comes over, but if you guys were to see it in the background and think, oh my God, she loves Lord of the Flies, I'd be so embarrassed that you'd think I had bad taste. And I don't. It's a shitty ass book. Don't read it. Don't waste your time. Okay, next thing I got. This is actually a really nice gift from, I don't even know how to describe them. I guess they're kind of like my niece and nephews at this point. I don't even know. I got this as a lovely gift from somebody I know. And this is Palmistry, How to Chart the Lines of Your Destiny. But this is a badass palmistry book. I did start reading it. I didn't finish reading it. I read bits. Oh yeah, you could see, like, I started reading it. I highlighted it here and there. I am so interested in this book. This book, again, was like brought to me. I swear, other people pick out books better for me than I ever could. My boyfriend does, his cousin does, this girl does. It's an amazing book. I've looking through it. I really want to read it. I really want to dive into learning about palmistry. And if you're looking for, it's by Roz Levine. I'm not sure. But if you're wanting to learn about palmistry, I would read this book, because I can already tell it's going to be the best one of palmistry out there. It doesn't have any of that foo-fa fucking esoteric random ass language. It's like to the point. It gives examples. It has little diagrams. You probably can't see, but it does. It has little diagrams and it shows you stuff really simply. And I just think it's fantastic, and I'm really excited to read it. And the little bit I've read is really good. Okay, that is actually it. That's all the books that I bought this year. Well, honestly, I didn't even buy a lot of them. I got gifted a lot of them. I'm very fortunate. Everybody knows that I love reading. So that is my full tarot deck and book haul for 2024 so far. If you liked this, I'll probably do another one at the end of the year. So yeah, this is obviously a very collective. I got these over the past 7 months. I love books. I love tarot decks. Let me know any recommendations you might have for me to read. I'm getting more into human design, so if you have a book on human design that you think I should read, I'd love to know, because it is very interesting. However, I will say I've been struggling to find somebody that I like that does human design. I don't know, and nobody really speaks to me. I'd also love to get a human design reading, so if you've gotten a human design reading from somebody that you really like and you think is my style, or you think I would like, please recommend them to me as well. But yes, all right. I'm sure this was a long video. Thank you for hanging out with me. We'll get back to the next video I'm going to do is a little healing session in my aspect video. So if you haven't voted on my community tab and my poll on like which aspect you want to see from me in my next video, vote, because I will be filming that next week. I'm pretty sure. Again, I sell birth chart readings on my website, shainaemily.com. I have an astrology TikTok at shaina.emily, and I have a personal Instagram. All right, thank you so much for watching. Bye.